Hi, this is Laiacona from Performant Software Solutions. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create your own digital edition using the command line tools for EditionCrafter. A digital edition is an online reproduction of a primary source, such as a literary or historical manuscript. These texts typically feature a precise transcription and sometimes translations into other languages. Often the text is displayed with a high-resolution image of a manuscript with the transcription or translation to the right. Text is sometimes presented diplomatically, preserving the layout, deletions, additions, and marginal notes as they appear in the original. Here is a simple digital edition that we are going to create today. The website we are looking at is being hosted by GitHub Pages, a free hosting service provided by GitHub. To follow along, you will need to create a free GitHub account if you don't already have one. Let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to set up our project using EditionCrafter. The EditionCrafter project provides this template repo here, EditionCrafter Project React, and we can make our own copy of this by clicking on Use This Template and then clicking Create New Repository. Let's go ahead and put this in our organization and give it a name. We'll call it DCE Demo. And then let's include all the branches so we get the GitHub Pages branch, and we'll make it public so that other folks can reference this if they want to take a look at it later. Okay, so now this is copying that into my own repository, which I can then use to create my edition. We can see that it's generated from that template. Okay, so once you've created your own repository, you want to head on over to the Settings tab and then take a look under Actions, General. You just want to make sure that your settings match these settings. Sometimes they can differ depending on the configuration of your GitHub account. So if you just scroll down, you want, especially this one here, read and write permissions for actions, you're going to need that. So make sure that's that way and that this is checked. And then hit Save if necessary if you need to make any changes. And if we go ahead and click on the Code button, we can then create our own code space, which will be our own environment in which we can work on this. And it'll include all the dependencies and things we need to get started. Okay, when you get to this point, you still need to wait a little bit longer because it needs to run this initialization script. You can see our README comes in here, and then it will run a one-time script to install EditionCrafter's command line tool. So let's just wait for that. For this demonstration, we are going to be using images and text from the Library of Congress's collection of Alexander Hamilton's papers. We are going to publish a single letter from these papers. The Library of Congress publishes the images of these pages in a format called IIIF manifests. Working with one of these manifests is ideal because they contain all of the page images in the correct order. They also provide a high-resolution version of the images, which is very useful when working with manuscripts and other historical texts. Okay, so here we are back over in our EditionCrafter project. Let's go ahead and go into the data folder here. We just have a few things in here. This is just kind of where we keep our data files in this example. And so we're going to take that IIIF manifest that we just got from the Library of Congress, and we're going to use it to create a TIXML file. So first we'll use the EditionCrafter command line command IIIF. So EditionCrafter IIIF, we're going to specify our input as the URL that we just pasted from the Library of Congress website. And then we're going to point our output, we're going to call it hamilton.xml. And let's hit enter. And so now if we look inside our data folder here, we have a TI file that has all of the surfaces from that folder, and we can see that they're labeled F000 through F055. And we really just want the first few for our letter here. So this gives us all the images, but it doesn't give us any text. You see how there's just a blank area here where you could, add your own transcription at this point. But we have a starting point on this already because the Library of Congress has already transcribed these pages. So there's the first page that just has the envelope, but when we get into the second page, if we look at images with text, we can see that they've already transcribed this first letter and all the letters. So let's just take the first letter and take the transcription that they offer and add it to our TEI file. So to do this, what we're going to do is create a folder in our data directory here. We'll just call it transcription. Okay, and then in here, we're going to create files that correspond to the surfaces of the pages that have the text on them. So it starts with F000, but that's just the folder, the outside folder part. That's this. That's the first one. So we really want this one, which is the second image, which is F001.txt. So that's this file that we've created here. And so let's go ahead and take the text here, and we'll copy this and just paste it into our editor for F001. And then let's just do the same thing for the first three pages. So F002.txt. We'll come over here, go to the next page, we'll grab the text all the way to the bottom, copy it, paste it, save, new file, F003.txt. Come back over here, advance to the next page. This is the end of the letter. We can see there's a signature. And I'll come back over here, save that. Okay, so now we have the text in this folder here. And if we go back to the command line, if we hit the up arrow, it'll just fill the command line with last command that we did, which is pretty much what we want. But we want to add now a -T option that points at the transcriptions folder. And when we do that, it's going to pull all of those transcriptions from the text. So let's do that. And now if we go back to our XML file, instead of it being empty here, you can see there's the surfaces. Now all of that has been added to the TEI file, and it's also been aligned with the images. So we can see that F001 here there's a page beginning, and then here's our transcription, and then F002, and here's our transcription. So that's just a quick way to get the text into the TEI file if you have plain text of your transcription already around. And now I'm going to go up to the text element where it says XML ID, and I'm going to replace this text with transcription. That's just to note that this text element is a transcription, and it'll also help us match the configuration that we're going to do later on. So we've got a README here that automatically displays and tells you a little bit about how to set things up. There are instructions here for how to configure it. So let's go ahead and do these initial setup instructions. We only have to do this once, and then it'll be set up. So the first thing we want to do is edit the Astro config file here. And in here, we need a base directory. So this is just going to be, in the case of code spaces, this is just going to be the name of our repo. So I'm going to change that to DCE demo. And then I also need to come into the data directory and edit the config.json file. And same thing here, I'm going to do /DCE demo and then DCE demo for this This document name is what's going to be displayed in EditionCrafter in the title bar. Let's just call this Hamilton letter. And then this document ID is going to be the same as the ID we gave it in fair copy, which is just Hamilton. Okay, let's hit save. So that's all set up. Let's go back to our README for a second. And yeah, so we edited Astro, edited that. So that's good. Now we need our TEI XML file that we created earlier, the hamilton.xml file. And we're going to use that to create the artifacts that EditionCrafter needs to publish our edition. So we're going to use the EditionCrafter process command. And we're going to go -i, and we're going to give it the XML file that we created. It's in the data folder, and since I'm in the root folder of the project right now, I want to go data/hamilton.xml. And then I need to specify an output folder. I'm going to put this to the public directory. That's going to make it visible on the web. And then I also need to specify a base URL, which I can get from, let's go to the start here. If I go to my repo, and I go to settings, and then pages, right here, this is the URL you want. So if I do copy link address here or something similar, then I can take that and just paste that URL right here, and that'll be the base URL for the website. That'll be included in the manifest, so we need that. So let's go ahead and hit enter. And so now we can see that that's created a folder over here in the public directory called Hamilton, and it's got all the artifacts that we need, including our IIIF manifest, which points at these transcriptions of our pages. So now we're going to check all of this in. We're going to commit it, and so if we come up here to where it says this number 14, these are all the files that we changed from the original. So let's just call this initial draft, hit commit, and now I'm just going to say always, hit sync changes. Okay, don't show again. No. Okay, so now let's put it all up onto GitHub. Okay, so here we are back on the repo page. If we take a look at the Actions tab, we can see that our site is being built here, doing a static build of our website. Once that's complete, we'll be able to host it. So we'll allow that to run. Okay, great. Now if we go over and take a look at this here, now it's taking that built site and deploying it, and all this is happening automatically. It was all triggered by the fact that I checked in the code. And then once the code is checked in, it just automatically updates the website. So we can see that it's now deploying the site, and once that's completed, it'll give us a link. And now if we click on this link, here's our edition. So we can see that this is page 2 here, and there's our text, there's our deleted section, here's our deep zoom window, and we can see that we have all the pages that we added. And so yeah, so now this is out on the web, hosted by GitHub Pages. Okay, well that's it. So the next time you want to update your edition, all you need to do is after you edit your TEI file, just run that process command again and check all the changes in, and your website will update automatically. So I hope you find that useful. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.